한국과 많은 큰 인연이 있는 찰스 멜튼 씨가 오늘 여러분들을 만나기 위해서 지금 이 자리에 와 계십니다. 여러분 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. 메이 디셈버의 찰스 멜튼 씨입니다. 앉아주세요. 한 1시간 정도 짧은 시간이라서 먼저 질문을 한 2개 정도 먼저 받고 저희 질문을 좀 이어가도록 하겠습니다. 찰스 한국 분들에게 인사 말씀 부탁드립니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 한국말 조금 말해요. 못해. Thank you so much for watching this film. It's always been a dream of mine to do a piece, to be in a movie that people all over the world can watch, and to have this film premiere here in Korea really means the world to me. My whole family got to see it today. And to see all of you guys, it really, I couldn't have dreamt this. So, thank you.
이 자리에도 계신가요? 가족분들 지금?
No, they're at the restaurant right now.
오늘 사실 앞에 거의 20분 정도 되는 거의 대가족이 할머니부터 시작해서 아버지와 어머니, 여동생을 다 오셨다는 얘기를 들었어요. 네. 그만큼 또 거의 금이환영이라는 그런 생각이 듭니다. 여러분 질문 먼저 2개만 받고 저희 이야기 바로 들어가도록 하겠습니다. 네, 네, 가운데 바로 가도록 하겠습니다.
First of all, I love you in Riverdale. 그리고 이제 그 인터뷰 보는데 인터뷰에서 리버데일에서 있었던 경험이 정말 큰 경험이었다고 들었어요. 근데 그러면 이 영화를 촬영할 때 리버데일을 촬영했을 때 특히 어떤 경험이 제일 도움이 되었는지 궁금합니다.
리버데일에서의 경험이 메이 디셈버를 연기할 때 어떤 도움이 되었는지에 대한 질문을 하셨습니다. 네.
Yeah. Well, for 7 years I was on that show, and 10 months out of the year I was working on that show consistently. And you know, it takes about 8 days to film one episode, and that's 22 episodes in 1 year. So it just built this work ethic that I had, just like kind of knowing my role and how everything worked, how the cameras operated, the lighting, the sound department, the scripty, the person that's regulating the lines and the continuity. There's just so many different aspects of filmmaking that I learned from that experience. And so when I met Todd Haynes and got to work with him, it was unbelievable. I mean, he just took me to a whole nother world, and I got to exist in that for 23 days. Practice builds confidence, and I had 7 years of that.
7년 동안 좋은 학교를 졸업한 셈이네요. 네. 네, 다음 질문으로 가겠습니다. 찰스, 네, 네, 그쪽으로 가겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 먼저 이 영화 메이 디셈버를 통해서 이루신 모든 성공과 성취에 대해서 정말 축하한다는 말씀을 드리고 싶고, 이 한국에서 응원하는 팬으로서 정말 자랑스럽다는 말씀을 드리고 싶습니다. 제 질문은 찰스 멜튼 씨가 이 영화에서 그 중학생의 나이로 이제 30대 여성의 남편이 되는 캐릭터를 연기를 하셨는데, 그 캐릭터가 연기하기 굉장히 어려웠을 것 같거든요. 그래서 이 캐릭터를 어떻게 접근을 했고 또 영화를 제작하는 과정에서 토드 헤인즈 감독님과 동료 배우인 나탈리 포트만 씨와 줄리안 무어 씨와 이 캐릭터에 대해서 어떤 얘기를 나눴는지가 궁금합니다.
네, 감사합니다. 뭐 사실 작년 올해 해서 22개의 상을 받았다고 하더라고요. 여러분 같이 한번 박수 좀 보내드릴까요?
Great question. Well, you know, I think the exciting thing about being an actor is we get to play these characters. And, you know, Sammy Birch, our writer, she wrote this very simple, elegant story that had so much complexity and room to discover. And the idea of playing Joe, this man whose adolescence was really taken from him at such a young age, was fascinating to me. Because I feel like I dissected how that would progress in someone's just emotional makeup, in the way they talked, the way they walked, the way they moved. How could this experience of some sort of trauma affect and condition this human? Which is what we do it as actors, I think, which is understanding the human condition and this character specifically. So, you know, I think there's a trust with Todd Haynes and Natalie and Julie. We didn't rehearse or anything, but there's just this kind of, we had a short amount of time, 23 days. There's just this absolute trust and just really letting go. But I had like 3 months to prep, you know. I spent a lot of time by myself. Did a lot of research about how certain things live in the body, a lot of therapy, a lot of eating, a lot of different things just to really exist with this character. Yeah.
여러분들 뱃살 보고 좀 놀라셨죠? 원래 그런 사람 아닙니다. 아까 몸의 움직임에 대한 이야기를 하셨는데 저도 보면서 이 그레이시, 그러니까 긴 시간 동안 함께 또 생활했었던 자신의 부인을 대하는 어떤 태도는 이미 성인 남성의 어떤 태도들을 가지고 있지만 혼자 걸어가는 뒷모습이라든지 걸음걸이는 사실 그 한 13살 소년에서 멈춰있다라는 생각이 들었거든요. 어떻게 보면 아주 몸이 언밸런스하게 자라났다는 것을 배우의 몸을 통해서 보여주는 그런 연기였었다는 생각이 듭니다. 그런 면에서 조의 어떻게 보면 퍼포먼스 안에서 디자인을 하신 부분이 있는지가 궁금합니다.
Well, I think there's so much internal work that translates into like the external expression of the body. And I love the idea of physicality, where you can tell so much with just out saying anything. And, you know, when we see, for example, Joe, when he's by himself, there's kind of like the adolescence and that point of time that was taken from him kind of comes to light in that moment. But then when he's with his wife, he's, kind of like hunched and protective. He doesn't know he's living in fear. It's just the only version of life. That's his own experience. Like, that's the only thing he knows. If we walk into a party and we see somebody in the corner hunched over like this, there's already a story that we're drawn to. Like, what's that person? Is it a secret? Are they okay? Are they hurt? What's going on? So just the physicality for me in acting is like the most exciting thing for me. Like the words when it comes to preparation is the map to the character and finding deep internal kind of signs to find the character, and then the words are like secondary opposed to like existing in the body and like that story, which is for me my favorite part.
이 영화 속에서 조가 키우던 애벌레가 나비가 돼서 날아가는 장면은 뭐 굉장히 또 쉬운 메타포라고 생각할 수도 있을 텐데요. 배우는 이 장면과 이 설정들을 또 어떻게 이해하고 연기를 했는지에 대한 질문을 좀 해보겠습니다.
Well, when it came to, I mean, yeah, the metaphor, it's such a beautiful metaphor. And I used it in multiple facets. It was kind of an outline of Joe's journey, right? Where we see him in the beginning and we see him slowly hatch from the cocoon into this butterfly. That moment in the butterfly hatching from the chrysalis, to me, could be measured at the graduation scene when he sees his kids graduating. Kind of that moment is him breaking through his shell, right? And then going backwards, you can see the moment with him and his son on the rooftop smoking. That moment could be seen as the almost hatching from the cocoon. Right, and then backtracking all the way to the pupa stage, this kind of not yet fully formed human in the beginning of the film, and that kind of transition. And like, there's so many different metamorphoses. I think everyone's experiencing it in their own way. Right, there's a lot of different things in life that transition you into the next chapter. Like if you graduate from university. You get married, you have a kid, your kids graduate, you get a new job, you're doing your second interview for a job. There's so many different metamorphoses. But that was one way that I used that concept to just outline the journey of my character.
저는 이 영화를 작년 칸 영화제에서 처음 보고 지금 한 거의 1년 가까이 지났는데 그 계속 남았던 얼굴이 딱 하나 그 졸업식장에서 조가 아이들을 보면서 웃듯이 우는 얼굴이었던 것 같아요. 그 장면을 연기할 때 그 촬영의 현장의 분위기, 본인이 그것을 연기해냈을 때 그 현장의 느낌들을 다시 한번 좀 살려서 설명을 혹시 해주실 수 있으실까요? 어떤 마음이셨는지?
We almost filmed in chronological order. That day, I filmed the first scene in that day. And then that scene specifically was filmed at the end of the day. So for the next 10 hours, I was just like hanging out with Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore, Todd Haynes, eating a bunch of food, just taking pictures, just hanging out. I felt very like in my body. I was having fun. And then that was the last setup. And I didn't really think about it because I feel like I was such in the world of Joe. And we did like 5 takes, and it's a very technical shot. There's a dolly on this rig. People are walking through the frame. It has to be kind of timed perfectly. But we only got 2 takes that worked. And we were losing light. And each time, it just felt so real to me in that moment. Just seeing, Joe's kids graduate. I'll say my kids graduate and all this. And like, it was just so, it was easy to be in it. Very magical set. Very magical day. And then they call cut. I'm walking to the trailers. And then I hear, we got one more take. We got one more take. So I ran back over there. I put my jacket on. Did the take, all these tears started coming. That was like this complex sense of like me thinking about Joe, his kids graduating, the joy he would feel, like, there's like sadness, there's so many different things. And I was feeling it all at once. And that scene, Tom didn't call cut for like a minute. He was just watching the screen like this, crying. And that was the scene, that was the take that they used.
박수 좀 부탁드립니다.
네.
혹시 그 장면을 연기할 때 대본에 뭐라고 쓰여 있었던 장면인지가 되게 궁금해요. 그
No. It was no. It just no.
본다.
Just Joe watches. Joe watches away from his family. And no, Joe off in the distance watches. That's scary.
근데 참 배우는 대단하죠. 그냥 본다라는 걸 그렇게 많은 감정을 담아서 보게 스스로 연기를 한다는 게 정말 좀 저수를 오늘 처음 들었는데 놀라네요. 사실 이 메이 디셈버라는 영화는 인간이 인간을 이해한다거나 혹은 어떤 진실에 다가간다는 것이 어쩌면 불가능할지도 모른다라는 걸 보여주는 그런 영화인 동시에 되게 배우에 대한 영화라는 생각이 들었어요. 배우들은 그 좁게 얘기하자면, 근데 영화 속에서 나탈리 포트만이 연기하는 엘리자베스가 보면 자기가 이미 만들어 놓은 이 캐릭터를 연기하기 위해서 좀 단서가 될 만한 것들이 갑자기 나타나면 되게 흥분하면서 좋아하는 그런 장면들이 있거든요. 예를 들어가지고 아마 그레이시의 뭐 오빠들에 의해서 성추행을 당했을 수도 있다 뭐 이런 얘기를 들으니까 그렇다면 캐릭터를 좀 빌드업하는데 이런 아이디어를 얻었어 뭐 이런 느낌의 얼굴이 있단 말이죠. 그게 사실은 어쩌면 인물한테 접근하는 굉장히 쉬운 방법일 수도 있을 텐데 사실 이 캐릭터 조라는 캐릭터도 사실은 실존 인물이 있었던 캐릭터였기 때문에 혹시 이 캐릭터를 연기하는 찰스도 조금 쉬운 방법 혹은 지름길을 찾기 위한 어떤 유혹에 빠졌던 적은 없는지 여쭤보고 싶습니다.
No, I don't think there's any shortcut to the human condition, to humanity. There's none. And, understanding Joe's loneliness, his repression, his sadness, in order to do that in service to the character of Joe, I had to look at my own loneliness, sadness, repression, my own version of that. And then understanding that and accepting that allows me to surrender to whatever character I'm playing, and that was Joe. There's no shortcuts. If there's a shortcut, then it's not really human. It's easy to play an idea or a caricature, but I had to completely body and embody Joe. It wasn't just acting it wasn't just acting for 23 days. I would go to the grocery store, I'd walk around my house, as Joe, and just completely immersed. Still myself, but just in service of my character always. That's not a shortcut.
조가 하나의 스토리가 아니라 정말 삶이었다고 생각이 드는 그런 연기의 접근법이라고 할 수 있겠네요. 네. 사실 이 영화에 대한 이야기들도 또 깊게 나누겠지만 이 배우에 대한 궁금증도 굉장히 클 것 같아요. 제가 들었던 얘기로는 캔사스에서 LA로 올 때 딱 $500와 꿈만 가지고 왔다고 들었는데요. 그때의 마음은 어떤 용기였나요?
I just wanted to do movies. But, I was really young, very young. I wanted to make money and for people to know me. And then I learned really quickly that I just wanted to do good work and be the best actor that I could be, And I believed in that. every day. I still, I think doubt is a good thing. You gotta make doubt your friend and do whatever you can to prove doubt wrong. And I think I try to do that every day, So, yeah, I always dreamed, still dream, my imagination. I dream when I work, it's all imagination, so, well, a lot of it is, but, yeah. 7 years ago, I was living off of like $10 a week, walking dogs, working Chinese takeout. I was 26 and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. So as long as I can be an actor. And now I'm here in Korea, my whole family from Korea just watched the movie. They're eating dinner somewhere and I'm doing a community vlog.
사실 아버님의 직업에 따라서 계속 좀 움직이는 삶을 살았다고 들었어요. 아버지 고향인 알래스카부터 시작해서 그때는 아마 기억이 거의 없겠지만 미국 안에서도 켄터키, 조지아, 테네시, 뉴욕, 텍사스 그리고 캘리포니아까지 계속해서 어떻게 보면 유목민처럼 살았던 이 시간이 배우로서 이게 어떤 기억으로 남고 어떤 자양분이 되었는지가 궁금합니다.
I think there's always two sides of a coin to any experience, and you gotta look at both sides of that. And for me, I had to constantly adapt and assimilate, especially being in two different cultures. 2 different languages in the household, Korean and English. But I was excited, I'm the oldest of 3, I was always excited to go to a new place because I always felt like I could reinvent myself and be a better version of myself. I would have so many different hairstyles. I would express myself in different ways. Like when I lived in Korea, I had really cool hairstyle. I had blonde bangs. I looked like a K-pop star, and I moved to Fort Hood, Texas. And everyone's like, "What do you do? Who are you?" It's a complete readjustment, and feeling this sense of other, right? But then being able to assimilate and adapt quickly. Like I'm really good at that. But there's a loneliness to that, right? But that's why I love acting so much, because I can just disappear, and I can feel free to disappear, If I felt really free when I moved from Korea to Texas, I would have kept my hairstyle and not cared what anyone thought, but I didn't, I changed it. But I feel like all those things helped inform just kind of what I do as an actor, and just going back to the imagination of starting new and being a different person. Still me, but the evolution of self was really exciting for me. Yeah.
한국에 사셨을 때 제일 유명한 스타는 아이돌이 누구였었어요?
이승준.
한국에 대해서 정확하게 이해하고 계신. 그리고 왜 그런 머리를 했는지가 제가 조금 이해가 됐네요. 저희 시간이 진짜 금방 가네요. 지금 사실 메이 디셈버에서 엘리자베스에 대해서 이렇게 관객 같은 학생들이 했던 질문이 있어요. 배역을 어떻게 고르세요? 라는 질문을 하잖아요. 찰스한테 이 질문을 역으로 좀 묻고 싶어요. 배역을 어떻게 고르세요?
Oh gosh, I really wish that I memorized Natalie Portman's line. Because I would say that. No, for me, it's an intuition thing. I feel it in my gut. It doesn't matter how big the role is, how small the role is. The first thing I look at is who's the filmmaker, then the script, And then I ask myself, will there be some sort of evolution of self doing this project? And if it's yes, then I do it, you know? But like, look, if Martin Scorsese called me tomorrow, I'd do that. Or Bong Joon, you know, if Bong Joon called him, I'll do it. But no, yeah, usually it's a good feeling that I have. And if I'm really scared, I'm like, okay, I should do this.
그런 결정을 통해서 차기작들이 뭐 지금 뉴스 나온 것만 해도 어마어마하게 쌓여 있는 것 같아요. 직접 한번 들어봅시다. 무엇을 준비하고 계신지요? Officially.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I'm doing 3 different things. I'm doing this war film with Alice Garland, who's great. I could say them, right? I'm doing this film with Todd Solondz called Love Child. Great. And then I can say that I should stop there. I'm like, look.
비프에 대한 궁금증을 갖고 계신 분들이 굉장히 많긴 한데, 네, 그렇죠? No?
What? Is something exciting is coming. Something exciting is coming.
아, 네, 저는 뭐 충분히 만족합니다. 네, 사실 지금이 배우로서는 5월 같은 때 같은 느낌이 들어요. 딱 초록잎이 나오는 그런 시기. 혹시 찰스의 줄라이, 어거스트는 어떤 풍경이 되기를 바라시는지.
It's going back into a season of work so that I can have another May.
영원히 이렇게 새싹처럼 피어나는 배우가 되도록 기대해 보겠습니다. 사실 오늘 뭐 할머니 얘기부터 시작해서 뭔가 이 멜튼가의 김치 담그는 법 뭐 이런 거 같은 거 좀 여쭤보려고 했었는데, 예, 어떤 뭐 특별한 비결이 어머니의 킥 같은 게 있는지가 또 궁금하기도 했었고 실제로 김치도 담그시는 거죠?
Yes, there is a kimchi recipe. And it's being...
What's the secret recipe of that?
I wish I could tell you, but I can't. But we will be an official business in America. And it's my mom's recipe.
Seriously? 와, 혹시 김치 브랜드 이름 미리 좀
I
정할
think
수
so. It's my mom's name.
아, 수경?
Yes, 유수경 김치.
이수경 김치?
유수경.
이수경 계신가요, 여기? 안 계시죠? 어머니 지금 레스토랑에 있죠?
Yeah, she's in the restaurant.
Yes. 이수경 김치 판매되면 꼭 사 먹도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 뭐 여러분들한테 또 뭐 완전 충분한 시간은 안 됐겠지만 그래도 이 배우가 어떤 마음을 가지고 이 영화까지 오게 됐는지 그 과정을 그래도 짧게나마 들어볼 수 있는 그런 시간이었던 것 같아요. 마지막으로 저희 관객들에게 그리고 오늘 함께한 소감을 또 얘기하면서 이 자리 마무리하도록 하겠습니다.
A year ago, this movie premiered at Cannes. And this, honestly, this is essentially it's been a wild ride since then. And I've ended up in Korea with my mom and her family, my family, talking about a movie that I did a year and a half ago. Like, I could have never imagined this. So it really means a lot. And I hope that I'm back here again, talking about many, many projects in the future. It just really is inspiring and motivating to see all of you guys and to be here. talking about this movie. Yes.
오늘 긴 시간 또 함께 해주신 여러분들에게 저희 박수를 드리고 싶고요. 오늘 찰스 멜튼 씨 긴 여행을 통해서 이 자리에 함께 해주신 찰스 멜튼 씨에도 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.